Good afternoon. Welcome to Dunsmore Moving Dirt. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I've got a video out. I'm going to start getting back on them, and been blessed around North Texas. We got quite a bit of rain the last 2 or 3 days. I've gotten here at the house, let's see, got 2 inches last night, and the night before that 1.5 inches. I got to show you my pond back here after a bit. Believe it or not, it is plumb full. So anyway, got my dozer moved in and around the yard, and just a lot of stuff been going on. Most of it just life stuff. Y'all probably know all about that. So anyway, I'm gonna get this gate open. I usually shut it on Sunday when we go to church. Just sometimes things too handy to get into. Just keeps people honest. Keeps honest people honest. You're not gonna make the other ones honest, so everybody knows about that. So anyway, did get my garden planted the other day, put in some new stuff, and of course I can see my beans sitting on top of the ground. It rained so hard. The rain uncovered them once, and I covered them back up. And another 2-inch rain last night. This is hard to do, hold the camera. Another 2-inch rain last night, and they're uncovered, but they're coming up, so I may try to put something on there. Yeah. I am going to run a little hot wire around here because them rabbits are just as thick as they can be right now. So I'm going to put, they're sprouting, they might come up. I got another row to plant. And that right there is corn coming up. So anyway, I'd had this garden plowed up, and I let it rain real good on it and get it packed back down. So last year when I planted this, when I put this down last year, it was on this half. And I just plowed the ground and tried to put it down on that, and that stuff was just hard. The ground was soft. So this was my winter cover crop on this half of the garden. There's turnips and radishes, and that's probably barley right there, and then I see some oats, and there's them purple, that's peas. So anyway, I need to get that kind of cut down and plow that in, and that's just build the soil up. So I usually rotate my garden from one half to another, and planted some strawberries. They're finally starting to do something. It's been pretty cool here recently, and so you never know what the weather's going to be like. Sometimes we have a spring, and sometimes we miss it completely. We go from winter to summer. But this year actually we've had a spring. So like I say, we're getting some water. A lot of my stock tanks, ponds, whatever y'all call them, was getting low. I got in there and dug them out, and I've got to get around and kind of go over. I'll probably do a whole video just on looking at them after they've been cleaned up, and then hopefully they're full. I think a lot of them ponds are starting to fill up if they're not already full. So that's a good thing this time of year. That's the only time we're going to get any water to fill something up, unless there's a hurricane come up through here. So anyway, so chances are the pond enlarging is going to either come to a halt or slow down tremendously, because that's all I've been doing for the last two years, or a little bit more than that. So these ponds are starting to fill up. What we've got to have is some water for our lakes. We get our water for this area from above ground man-made lakes, and here before all this rain started, they were around 50% full. That sounds good, but it's not, because once we get summertime here and the evaporation rate kicks in, I don't think we can go all year long on 50% water. it's going to be pretty close, like I say, unless we got a hurricane. Once June and July gets here, I mean, chances of getting a lot of rain is pretty slim unless a hurricane comes up through here, but you can't ever tell. I mean, back in 2015, we was in a drought. The lakes was just about dry. But we couldn't hardly pump water out of them no more for the water supply. And they said it'd take 2 or 3 years to get them back full. And good Lord sent a rain, and I mean within 3 weeks, every lake was full. So it all depends. You're not, just because they say it's going to take 3 years, it can take 3 weeks, because we don't control the weather. So anyway, we're gonna go back here and look at the tank. I got my tractor up here. I had the hydraulic cylinders on the bucket was leaking so bad, it was making a mess. Kind of had a guy thought he might be interested in it. I just don't use it no more. Mainly what I did, I had a Terrace machine. I used it for that, and I have moved mud out of tanks with it, which it's not made for that. But the bucket's kind of wore out, but it don't have it. 4,300 hours on that tractor. It's a 7510, 135 horse. Got the 6 remotes, 3 POs hooked up. So I was kind of cleaning it up. I use it more around the yard, lifting stuff up, putting it on the trailer, carrying something around, and I had them front rams, they were leaking. I had them repacked here a year ago, and then as soon as I did that, these on the side went to leaking. And of course, the way they're sitting, I mean, it was leaking with the engine not even running, and it would drip down, and the wind would catch it and blow all over the tractor and everything. So I just finally got tired of washing it, went and had them packed and everything. So it's got a little oil leak on the steering cylinder, but it's not near what them was. I mean, them things will leak till it run out the oil out of it. So anyway, I got to make a decision about what I want to do with that one. Got a Terrace machine back here that just don't use it no more. We'll go back there. No, we're headed back there anyway. Look at it when we get back there. And you notice my trailer sitting here without a truck under it. I put it in the shop last week, some suspension work on the drive axles, some of them bushings back there. That thing was getting rougher than driving a bulldozer down the road. So got that going and get it back next week. Today's Sunday. What's church this morning? It's my turn to teach the Sunday school class, so I love doing that when it's my turn. We got 5 teachers, and we go. Everyone's got a designated Sunday and do that. Our class is the faithful followers. And I'm probably, there may be somebody. I used to be the youngest one there. It was from my age up. So great people, great Christians. Good people, and I enjoy that, teaching that class when I get a chance. So we're just out kind of looking around. Thought I'd kind of get you up to date on some stuff. But this is the Terrace machine I got. Now that will move some dirt, and I used to run it a lot in the summertime, either rebuilding terraces or new terraces. But anymore, the terraces we build are so big that you about push them up with a dozer. So just don't use that thing. It's a good Terrace machine. We've had it since it's brand new. That thing will move some dirt. You wouldn't think it would, but I pulled it with that 7510 and its front wheel assist. And sometimes you kick it in front wheel assist because you have one side of your tractor goes in a ditch that you cut. That ditch just drops down. It don't turn whatsoever. But when that disc sticks in the ground, it cuts, and it just continues stream of dirt. You turn that conveyor belt on, and it'll throw it from the where it gets on the disc to the end of where the dirt will throw. It'll throw it 16 foot, and you just go back. This is not a double belt. If it's a double belt, you could go down your channel, turn around, come back down the channel, and just throw dirt out the other side of the machine. This is being a single belt. You go down your channel, throw your dirt on your berm, and then you have you a little haul road made behind the terrace berm. You come back down it and start back again in the channel. And that's how a single belt works. There's a whole lot more moving stuff. You got 2 discs, you got 2 sets of belts if it's a double belt and everything. It works good. The guy that makes that is from it comes from Waukene, Kansas. Maelstrom Terracer. He's a mechanic and a farmer, and he invented that thing. It's just pretty simple and it works really good. So anyway, here's what I was going to show you. In August, it'll have been 2 years since I worked on this thing. I did a video about where that tree is. There was dirt across there. I enlarged it, took the trees out, and made it deeper and everything. So it's been 20 months since I did that work, and yes, it is finally full. I mean, plumb full. I didn't know if it was ever going to happen. It would start to come up and come up 2 or 3 foot, then it'd quit raining and it'd go back down 2 or 3 foot. But it just took the right kind of rains. A 2-inch rain, and then 2 days before that, 1.5 inches rain, and that's everything got wet, and it runs some water. That's what it takes to fill up. And like I say, I don't have only acreage that is coming into this tank is what comes off of that house, the gravel yard, and the barn. And that's probably 2.5 acres up to the road. And that's all the drainage that comes into this pond. So a big rain, nothing soaks in on 10 barns, nothing soaks in on a gravel road or a house. All that water goes into a ditch. It's on the east side of the property, and I got it graded down to here. So once it gets wet and goes to really running some water, this thing will fill up in a heartbeat. Like I say, it filled up last night. We got 2-inch rain last night. Heavy. It was really heavy at times. So I'm glad to see that thing full. That'll going this time of year now. If it doesn't catch a bit of water now, going into the year, it'll have water in it till late this winter. Hopefully we can get some more to allow for the evaporation rate and everything. Because if it wasn't to get another drop of water by the end of the summer, this thing would probably be down 4 foot, just evaporation, just water going up into the air. So if it's a normal rain, you can kind of keep that replenished, but there's enough water. I don't have to worry about the fish and everything. And in there now, they'll make it all summer long, and then this winter your evaporation rate goes down, but you still have some. But it's nothing like it's going to be in July and August and September around here. So I'm glad to see that thing finally full. Like I say, I was beginning to wonder and really wanted to see what it looked like when it was full. Matter of fact, I had a T-post drove in out there because I was trying to see what kind of come up here. It was a little old puddle and hogs was coming in here, and I was hoping the T-post would still be above the ground, but now it's under the water. So that'll be something I can get my wrap my line around anyway if I'm fishing. So I have to try that here maybe this evening. The wind blows so much. I was trying to get my drone out the other day and look at one tank, and dadgum, get up of a morning and the wind's already blowing 25 miles an hour. And I never thought about that when I got a drone, and I was flying it, and a red light come on and said high wind warning, and so I brought it in and landed it. But I do need to get out and look at a lot of them ponds that I dug. So I know some of them was already getting close to being full, and any of them around this area will probably be full. So I need to get out and get some pictures of them, maybe just do a video on what they look like before or after. So that's about all that's going on right now. Like I say, there's just been a lot of life stuff going on here in the last 2-3 weeks, I'm gonna start getting some video out and of some jobs, and then maybe I can get caught up on some. Like I say, it's got to get a lot of stuff started again, and it's nice to get a break, but then once you're rained out or something broke down and you're not working for a couple of weeks, it takes a little bit to get everything wound up on your schedule going back. But I did do some grubbing here about a month ago. I've got that video to get out, some grubbing and raking, and really changed the looks of a place. It was just solid mesquite trees. So, and then mesquite trees are going to take off now. I mean, they've had a tough time like everything else, but they're going to start growing. Anyway, I cleaned this place up and made it look a whole lot better. And so my brush piles just got, I think I got a pine tree in there. Yeah, I had a video of me pushing over that pine tree there. I cut the top out of it. It died. I had 2 more trees die, and I just had some company come in and take him down for me. But the big willow trees that I dug out of the tank, that's them right there, them big wads of roots and everything. So I was going to get, there's one that's dead, I was going to get it out before it rained and just never got a chance to do it. Took longer than I wanted it to get through. And it does have some bass in it. It's got some channel cat in there. But this little low depression runs all the way up to the road. When I first built this thing, I had a 613 scraper in here, and I dug some dirt out and hauled it up there before we built the house and put it where I was going to build my house. I was wanting to raise everything up to get it as high as the road is up there. And so I dug a little bit of it. Then it was just kind of a square pit, and every chance I got when we wasn't doing something, I'd come in large it a little bit before we moved out here. But this all used to be a field around here, all cultivated ground. Of course, you can see what happens. Them trees there should be as big as these in the fence, but the people that had that next door, they'd run through there and mow them off about once a year. So that's what happens when you mow a mesquite tree. You just make it mad, because it's usually a single trunk tree when it comes up the first time. Every time you cut it down, it comes back, it adds about 4 or 5 more branches to it. So it's a bush, and it gets big and thick, and so that would be a booger right there to clean up, because there's stumps under there that's kept growing over the years. It's got stumps probably bigger than these big trees in the fence line. But anyway, that's what happens when you have a farmland here in North Texas. You quit farming it, it turns to mesquite trees. That seed's just laying there. They say them little kangaroo rats get them seeds and go out there and do their stuff on the ground, and trees come up, and they're just native to this country, and it just turns to mesquite trees. Anyway, since this was being an old field, there was a turn road coming up into this corner here. Of course, there used to not be a road up there. I built the road up there when the landowner decided to split this up and put it in lots. So all this water from the back run to the front. Well, when you want the tank in the back, that's not a good direction to have your water running away from your pond. So the redneck thing to do was to make water run uphill, which you can do it. You just got to try to figure it out the best way to do it. So I built a ditch up there, and I graded everything back this direction. So now when it rains, everything, the yard, the barn, goes to the east side of the property, and it falls in this ditch, and it comes down here to this tank. This also serves as a spillway. Now I could had left the opening here where it would go on straight across there. I built, there's 2 properties over, and I built another tank over there. But that would regulate my water. If it was, that property over there is probably 3 foot lower than the top of this water is right now. So if the spillway was through here, if I had a pipe through here, I might could raise it up, but it would be 3 foot lower, so I would lose 3 foot of water just by letting it spill there. So what it does now, when it comes down this ditch, when everything's full, it starts backing back up toward the road. And about halfway between that wire fence and the road, there's a high point. That's as full as anything will ever get. And when it gets any fuller, it starts running back. The last 100 foot runs back toward the road and goes in the bar ditch and goes on down to the big creek. So when it probably likes, I'll say it's plumb full, another 4 inches maybe, because there'll be water staying all the way up to that wire fence. It'll stand past the wire fence, and then it starts breaking to the road. So it's gone down just a little bit since it's rained. But anyway, so I had to kind of reverse the way water comes into this place. So I wanted the tank back here. I didn't want it up there next to the road. I wanted it back here in the back. So figured it out, and it works pretty good. So it made a nice, like I say, I've enlarged it, I've made it deeper. It's been dry once. Been out here since 1990, and I've made it deeper and bigger and curved it around and everything. And this was some dirt that I took out, and over there them 2 humps. So it's a nice pond, and it's a place to have a few fish. And like I say, I wouldn't think of building a tank on 3 acres of drainage out in the middle of a pasture somewhere, unless it was just surrounded by 3 acres of concrete, because it's not going to fill up. But if you got the drainage, if you got the runoff, I think the soil conservation calls that urban runoff, when you're running off of buildings and concrete and gravel and tin. Water adds up in a hurry, but it doesn't when it's out in the pasture like this right here. 3 acres of water running off that is nothing. I mean, because the trees are going to drink it up before it can run off. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on today. Just kind of looking at everything while it's nice and green and pretty and wet. Mrs. D keeps everything pretty well mowed. That's her therapy, she says. She likes to mow the grass. I keep the tires up and gas in it. She keeps everything mowed. These 2 humps, that one and that one over there, is some dirt that I pulled out of this backhoe. I need to get me a little paddle boat. Cleaned up, changed the oil on it, got some decisions I need to make about that thing, and maybe filling y'all in on some of that in the next video or 2. So Mrs. D has got her coveralls on. I think she means work, so I guess I better shut this video off and see what kind of work I got myself into. So thanks for watching this video. Appreciate y'all watching this channel and backing it up and subscribing. So be sure to watch. We'll get some new videos out of moving some dirt or something. So thank y'all for watching. Keep your blade shiny and tracks clean.